Hello, I'm Charlotte Arnold, and I'll be attending Seton Hall this fall as a nursing major. I grew up on Long Island, New York, specifically Baldwin, which is known to be one of the most diverse towns on the South Shore. I have learned that racism takes many forms and what it means to be an advocate against racism through my environment. Growing up in Baldwin has given me a unique perspective regarding racism because topics such as discrimination, racism, social injustice are not taboo at the high school I attended. They were talked about openly and we were educated very thoroughly on it. I actually work at a neighboring town that's majority white, and I have witnessed firsthand the negative impacts of a non-diverse community on the youth and the lack of education that there is. I am hoping that joining the Martin Luther King Scholars Program would allow me to better educate others and teach others about the negative impacts of racism and what they can do to prevent it and to officially stop it, honestly. My program today involves anti-racism, which is a topic I was not familiar with up until maybe a couple days ago, but doing this program has also helped me better educate myself and my family members on this topic. What is anti-racism? Anti-racism refers to the active process of identifying and eliminating racism within communities through challenging, changing the values, and reorganizing structures. I really like this chart because it depicts that becoming anti-racist is not an overnight process, that it takes patience, education, and time, and how you could group yourself based on what you think. In today's society, simply not being racist is not enough. The murders of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Elijah McClain, and so many people have proven that not being racist is not enough. Communities must work actively towards having conversations, workshops, and anything else they could do regarding social justice, discrimination, and racism. Communities' active role is essential to removing the stigma that not being racist is enough to end racism. The program I am pitching today involves having lectures, seminars, and activities in community centers such as South Orange Library and the Beard Community Center. I intend on there being separate programs for adults and children since there's different learning styles and to make sure that we maintain children's attention. The program outline. Adult programs would be more Socratic seminars that allow participants to share a personal story, to educate others, and express views while still answering critical questions. Personally, through my experience in classrooms, I've learned that Socratic seminars are very effective and they are interactive, but still provoke deep discussion. The children programs would be more interactive with activity-wise, such as reading books such as This Is Our House by Michael Rosen, the lemon peel activity in the assertion jar, which I go more in depth on the brochure. Requirements. For Seton Hall's MLK scholars to be able to lead discussions about anti-racism, we do need to undergo training. Blue Level is an online training course that students could decide to participate in, and so is World Trust is another organization. I left both of the links below so we could check them out. Audience and purpose. According to the United States Census, 63.4% of South Orange's population is white. Since South Orange's population is majority white, programs based on anti-racism and ending discrimination can be very beneficial to the community. Even though the main purpose of these programs is to better educate the white community and urge them to have a more active role in ending racism, I do hope that it inspires citizens of color to participate and help educate others through their personal experiences. The impact. I believe this program would have a large impact on South Orange's community. Through educating myself, I have learned that racism takes many forms and isn't always expressed in the most obvious ways. These programs may enable citizens to recognize behaviors in themselves that they normally don't identify as racism, but are. Change doesn't happen overnight, but this program would enable white members of the community to recognize their privilege and to make changes to their day-to-day life. I like to say there's always room for improvement. There's always room for more education. The frequency of the program and the effectiveness. I believe that this program for adults and children should take place twice a month. This gives participants enough time to educate others on the skills and the information that they learned while still having the support of the group. The effectiveness of the program would be measured through simply asking participants for feedback and listening to how the information either helped or did not help their day-to-day lives. A lot of these programs will be more discussion-based, so that's how we would figure that out. And that's the end of the PowerPoint presentation, and now we'll move on to the brochure. Okay, so possible locations: South Orange Library and the Beard Community Center. The overview just explains what anti-racism is compared to regular, like not being racist. It also discusses how majority of South Orange's community is white and how the program could benefit the white community. Also the frequency of the program and the different styles of the program. Examples. So here I have some examples of critical questions that we could ask during the adult seminars. These questions are meant to provoke deep discussions and hopefully inspire others to share their experiences. My main goal with these programs is to create a safe space where people do not feel pressured to necessarily share things, but feel comfortable to when they would like. Some of the questions would be, why do you think it's hard for people to not assess others based on their cultural beliefs, and how does that contribute to racism? Have you ever been denied services because of your race? Have you ever witnessed someone you love be discriminated against? And if so, what did you do? And how do you distinguish between equality and equity, which is very important. Here I went more into depth about the programs I mentioned that we could do for kids, and one of them being the assertion jar. I believe this one's very important. At the beginning of each program, the instructor would ask the children a question. The children would write down their answers on a piece of paper and place it in a jar. The instructor would then pick pieces of paper from the jar and read them aloud, encouraging kids to participate and explain why they either refute or support what was said. The activity teaches younger kids how to be respectful and articulate their thoughts when supporting or refuting someone else's claim or their opinion. I believe that is a very important skill to develop younger, and it will help kids grow up and educate others without being disrespectful. Like I said before, the goal of this would be to help educate the white members of South Orange's community, and also to bring awareness to behaviors that may not be viewed as racist, but are racist. These programs are intended to create a safe space environment for community members to learn and share their own experiences. That is the end of my presentation. I really hope you enjoyed and that you consider my program, and thank you so much for your time.